Defeat Putin. For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
We came, we saw, he died.
We both agree that Assad needs to go.
You know, fuck the EU.
All right, we are live in TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble, and Odyssey, and Telegram channel, and Twitter X, of course. Good afternoon, everybody. Everybody's watching us. A lot of people watching us on the Larry Johnson channel, so I don't think I need to do much more introduction. We have Larry Johnson here every now and then, and yeah, without further ado, Mr. Larry Johnson. How are you doing, Larry?
I'm well, Marcelo. Thank you for having me. As always, it's a pleasure.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you here. I always have an excellent, a fantastic time. And your country is going crazy. What the hell is going on there?
Man, we're given banana. To call us a banana republic would be an insult to banana republics. You know, we're just. It's a complete clown show of incompetence at every level. You know, Joe Biden. I guess he's going to start doing ads for Depends. You know, the adult undergarments, basically diapers. So that'll be his post-presidential career. They trot out Kamala Harris, you know, cackles, and
I call her Kamala Janice.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, she's. They try to present her as some sort of very smart person, and she's not smart. I mean, she's widely considered to be pretty dumb. And on top of it, she's not a nice person. She's abusive. You know, she's got a reputation for being the she-devil. And, you know, 94% of the people that have gone to work for her have quit, which is not what you'd call a great track record. So
they tried to convince her that she actually made a cleanup.
Yeah, well, first, you know, they don't understand this concept of videos, social media. So they name her as the border czar, and they write articles about her as the border czar. And then one of the reporters who wrote about her as the border czar comes out and says, she was never the border czar. And you're going, hey, dude, you wrote the article about it. Read your own article, you know.
There were some media outlets that were apologizing by saying that some things before, right? Like I don't know if it was Politico or I don't know, just say, you know, we said that before, but now we think different. That's just so obvious. Yeah, no,
it's just, you know, we're leaderless. We do not have anybody in charge. And none of the political leaders on either the Democrat or Republican side are demonstrating any kind of real maturity. I mean, it's just pretty frightening.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've been. I mean, since I started the channel not so long ago, 1 year ago, but since I start paying attention to these things, the impression that I have is that there's a simple vacuum of power like everywhere. Europe, United States, I mean, everywhere that used to rule the world, I will quote that, but this kind of imagination. But yeah, I mean, it's weird to see that from the outside, actually. I mean, Joe Biden, I cannot imagine I was asked this the other day. Was there ever a worse president than Joe Biden? But then, yeah, I'm not a specialist in American history. I could not say anything about that. But was there?
I guess we'd have to sit down and define what do we mean by worse. We had a president who was medically incapacitated in the last year of his administration, Woodrow Wilson. And he certainly got the United States into a war that we didn't necessarily need to get involved with. But in terms of, if you're going to measure it in terms of the rise in crime, and the Democrats like to claim, oh, crime's gone down under Joe Biden, but the only reason it's gone down is because the major cities are not reporting crime. So if you stop reporting it, of course, you're going to get fewer reports. The security at the border has become a joke. In fact, the number I saw was they've had more people flood across the borders than were actually born in the United States last year.
Oh, wow.
So the United States is destroying itself from within. Major cities are complete hellholes, dystopian hellholes. Looks like something taken out of a Mad Max movie with drug addicts. Certain streets are just filled with what they call zombies. So Biden's terrible across the board, and then apart from that, has got the United States on the verge of three different wars: Ukraine, Middle East, and China. Instead of looking to build peace, or he's looking to engage in conflict. And all this comes at a time that we've got news now that the U.S., if it did get into a shooting war, might have 3 weeks of ammunition total in the stockpiles. After that, be out. So, we don't even, we don't have the industrial capability anymore to sustain a war if we get involved with one.
Yeah, I saw this new. Now came to my mind the following question. Could be the other day I was watching Alexander Mercury's, and he mentioned one thing that I had thought before, but it seemed just not so right. That even him, he said, okay, if you do the math, it's still not there. But could it be that the Europe, United States are building a misleading campaign that we are broke, so people think
no they are broke.
No.
This is we really are that bad. This reminds me, when I was back in 2003, 2004, I was teaching what was called a senior crisis management seminar, and for State Department. And we would have people, we do one country at a time, say people from Saudi Arabia or people from Syria, and back then, or Colombia. And they would all come up to me, and my job was to do the brief on terrorism, the terrorist threat, and on the human rights question, tell them, don't pull out people's fingernails. And they would always come up to me and go, okay, what's the real story? Why did you guys invade Iraq? What's really going on? They actually believed that we had some secret, nefarious plot, because they were used to not telling us the truth. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, we're really that screwed up. We don't know what we're doing. They thought we were just pulling our punches. So this notion that now the United States is just, we're trying to sucker punch people, try to make them think that we're weak when we're really strong, and conduct a false flag. No, we're really that screwed up.
That's since all this began, because I grew up in Brazil, so I'm from Rio de Janeiro. I grew up with the Hollywood cinema and all, the news, the cable TV, for example, is one thing that I always mention here. The cable TV in Brazil is 99% United States, and when I moved to Europe, HBO, Showtime, all these things, they're gone. They're gone for me. So I grew up with, with this, United States is the super country, super. And then I see that, and deep down inside, just there, near the liver, I feel like, just a little bit, I wish all these plans would work, from one day to another, and you see that, Russia collapses and China collapses and the United States surge with great victory over, just not to believe that I've been fooled for my entire life, Yeah. And this is because it looks so good of a plan. So bad, so stupid, so out of touch with any kind of reality that it's hard to believe that is, actually someone thought about it.
Well, there was an era, and you grew up in it, when the United States was, let's call it the leader in fashion, the leader in entertainment, the leader in food, what people wanted to emulate, what they wanted to copy. Remember when blue jeans were the rage around the world, you could sell blue jeans for enormous prices in places like Russia. People wanted to, it was cool to be American. Yeah. That's over. We're now, America's become like Joe Biden, old, cranky, and forgetful, and sort of regularly pooping our pants too,
That's I think we even discussed this before here in the channel. The oligarchy, the leadership of the United States just looks like an 80s, 70s perhaps version of itself. They are still there. They are still pumping steam. Industries are on the brink. But yeah, come on, let's stop smearing the United States. Although all this is very sad that we are happening and we are seeing. I mean, I have a lot of steam. I have a lot of friends in the United States, and I just wish some people with good sense would come up to the stage and say, okay, it's enough. It's enough. We went too far. We went too far for a long time.
Well, the ability, the United States has lost its ability to really be the world leader. We always fancied ourselves as the world leader. That goes back to Ronald Reagan quoting Isaiah, that the United States is a city on a hill, city of light, that all the world flocks to say, let us learn to be like you. It's sort of arrogant for starters, but what we've now witnessed is that with the rise of BRICS, with the attempt to destroy Russia, the United States has exposed itself as a country not capable of following through on its threats. And we've started a war, and we want to pretend that Russia started the war in Ukraine, but we started that war going back to 2014. And now we can't finish it. And we made promises to Ukraine. Hey, we got your back. We're with you to the end. Well, guess what? This is the end, guys. Good luck. And then from an economic standpoint, we used to, everybody, we ruled the world. And you had to use dollars. Mm-hmm. Now that Russia was shut out of that system, and the Chinese recognize, hey, they can do it to Russia, they can do it to us. Then the Russians, Chinese, the Brazilians, Indians, South Africans all got together and said, hey, let's come up with an alternative system where we don't have to rely on the dollar. And lo and behold, they're starting to do international trade and they're not relying on the dollar. And the Americans are still so arrogant, they can't live without us. We're so important. No, they're not. In fact, we're in the process of becoming irrelevant. And I think sort of the similar fate awaits the United States as what happened to what happened to the Soviet Union when it collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the last days of the Soviet Union, Gorbachev was in charge, so they got someone sort of younger, fresher. But before that, it was this geriatric crowd from Leonid Brezhnev, Yuri Andropov, Andrei Gromyko. So, I remember those folks from my teenage years. And here in the United States, we're left, our playbook is this. If you don't do what we want, we're going to threaten you with sanctions. We're going to run a covert action through the CIA to try to destroy you or undermine you. Or we're going to go to war with you. Those are our options. And people look around going, this is like being forced to date the rapist on your street. Okay?
Exactly.
Exactly. People say, no, I don't want to deal with you or that. Get away from me.
Exactly. Larry, okay. There's a lot of material already on your YouTube channel, on your site, Sonar 21. All the links are going to be in the description. I'm going to put the links of the series of videos that you made, including the conversation with Scott Ritter and Through the Eyes Of channel, the Anya K channel.
Yeah.
You made an amazing compilation of videos. Pivoting a little bit to Trump attempt now. You made an amazing compilation of videos with examples. With even you went to the shooting range and you you showed more or less how would be the sensation, even in a very controlled scenario there. And you had, in the first video, you had trouble to actually hit the targets. And I think you even got an ear from the targets. And so I'm going to put all the links here, but can we try to condense a little bit just to try to explain, because it's been, a couple of weeks already now. During the day, I pull up a live stream and I got a little bit of information, because the first live stream you did, you mentioned that the sounds, it was like a 22 caliber.
22, and I was wrong on that. It was 5.56 probably.
It was which is a 223. It's like I made a video exactly showing the difference between the 223, the 22, so people could get the idea. Can we try to condense what we know now about the attempt? Because the first thing that came to my mind is that the guy was not using a scope.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. He was using what they call a red dot.
The red dot. And I'm not a shooter, but I shoot a couple of times. And most of Brazilians don't understand how hard is it. Perhaps in the United States, you're going to have more people understanding the dynamics of shooting. But how hard is it at 150 meters without a scope, with a red dot? I tried to show a little bit of the sight that people would have with some videos that I found in YouTube.
Yeah. Well, what people need to understand about that shot, if you got a trained marksman and you're using a magnified scope with that particular kind of rifle, even at 150 yards, you should be able to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. That's not an impossible shot. What makes it a difficult shot is if you're trying to fire multiple rounds in quick succession. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing if you're going, you exhale, hold your breath and go press the trigger, boom, then you wait and breathe, exhale again, breathe, boom. Well, that's a long time in between each shot. That's not what happened with Trump. With Trump, it was boom, 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 boom. 5 more shots, and then a 9th shot, and then 4 seconds passed, and a 10th shot. So there were a total of 10 shots fired. It's a miracle that only 4 people were hit with gunfire. 1 was killed, 3 were wounded, including Donald Trump. I went to the range the other day just to test another sort of approach. And I was at 100 yards and going just as slow as I could with exhale, hold, minimize all body movement. I was able to put 9 of 10 shots in a 8-inch grouping, which is pretty good. Yeah. But I had plenty of time. So when you look at what this kid was trying to do, he didn't have the luxury of time. His first shot, but from 150 yards, if you've lined up, you've exhaled, and you've taken time to try to get that first shot off, he probably would have killed Trump if Trump hadn't moved his head. Because that was the problem. The target was not a stationary target. It was a mobile target. But the bottom line is the kid should never have been in that position to do that. This was a complete breakdown by the Secret Service. And I was laughing just before we went live. One of my Secret Service buddies, retired, just sent me a note because I'd said, I've been struck by the fact that none of the news media up here is talking about who was the agent in charge, who was the person that was responsible for making sure they did the proper advance work, making sure the security plan was in place, operating, making sure that they had communications, making, all these different things that have to be taken care of. Somebody's in charge and responsible for doing that. And he just sent me a note. It was a woman. So it doesn't mean that a woman is necessarily incapable of doing this, but this was a DEI hire. They hired her because she was a chick, not because she was good. And apparently she didn't have any background in securing dignitaries. But they wanted to give her a job so she could, look good on her resume. All right, you almost got somebody killed.
Not just somebody.
Yeah.
Not just somebody. That would be one hell of a resume.
She got a civilian killed and almost got Donald Trump killed.
Exactly. And 3 more people shot. I was watching just before that you wrote me that you're going to be a little bit delayed. And then I was watching you on Daniel Davis, and I saw that video that people made on the police officers on the park, kind of lost there. So there was, sometimes we speak things, and that's one thing that I try to make people realize. Sometimes we speak things, there were 3 minutes. And people think, well, 3 minutes when you are on an activity that, someone may shoot something, it's an eternity. Even the 10 seconds between the time that the shooter started shooting and the time that someone put him down, 10 seconds is an eternity of time. If you watch that video, just looking at it, it's a lot of time. So some things called my attention. And, first of all, I hate to say that, but, the guy was using the Demolition Range T-shirt. And I like the channel. I hope people don't go over the channel for that. But there's a picture of the guy from above, which is the picture that shows the Demolition Range T-shirt. Who got the picture? And because it was taken before, the guy was still alive.
It was a local police SWAT team. It was a local police counter sniper team. So they were the ones who got the photograph. And there's still some real unanswered questions. Based upon the acting director's presentation this morning, he confirmed that the sniper team on stage right, vision was obscured. The sniper team on stage left were the ones who allegedly took the shot and killed the sniper, or the shooter, Thomas Crooks. But he also showed a picture that if someone was on the roof laying on the roof, and at that angle from where this counter sniper team was, they could only see a little bit of the head, and you wouldn't necessarily see the rifle. The problem with this is that the Secret Service used 300 Win Mag.
Okay.
That is a big ass piece of ammunition.
Yeah.
And I've seen, and you can you can look up on, I think there's a channel, Brandon Herrera on YouTube, where they went out and they actually shot with a 300 Win Mag, a makeup of a human head.
Mm-hmm.
It destroys the head. So if this kid is laying at the top of the roof and gets hit here in the forehead, I guarantee you the top of his head is gone. Well, it's not. When you look at the picture, top of the head's intact.
Mm-hmm.
The whole head's intact. I mean, he's got blood and everything, but it's not blown up and like there's an explosive bullet going through. So you got to go, wait a second, what the hell's going on? Plus, his body is down 3 to 4 feet from the top of the roof.
Yeah.
So from the crest. So you got to say, again, if he got hit with a bullet and slid down, but he would have kept sliding. Why did he stop sliding?
And that's
So
not
it looks
that
like- it
that
looks like he
steep.
was- yeah, but I'm just saying, it looks like he was shot with something smaller than a 300 Win Mag, and that that shot is not clear if that shot came from behind, because I'm increasingly thinking it did not come from the front.
But there were no units behind him, were it?
Yeah, there
Were
was.
there?
Yeah, there
There
was.
was? Okay.
Yeah, one of the local SWAT teams. This is the other thing Rose showed in his presentation. There was a local SWAT team, counter sniper team, that was in a building to the right of Crooks, behind
Okay.
and up, and so they actually had sight of the roof, which then raises the question: what the hell? Why didn't they see him? Why did they let him get into a position and take the shot?
But that is the team that is shown on that video behind Trump. No, the guy that
No,
is
that's
on
different.
his
That's
knees.
different.
That's different. Yeah.
The ones that you see where Trump's, let's say Trump's standing here,
Mhm.
and you see a team up here to his right, then that's Secret Service counter sniper. This was out in the building behind where Crooks
Okay.
was.
Okay. Okay.
Which
Yeah.
goes back to what you said about them taking the picture. They took a picture of him.
Okay. So they took the picture before it started. All right.
Right.
That is funny. The other thing that really caught my attention, and I'm not sure now that if you have mentioned this before, when you had the conversation with your sniper training. What's his name? Craig? No, I have it.
No,
Chris Whitcomb.
Yeah, Chris Whitcomb.
Chris Whitcomb. The boy's 20, and I mean, you are a little bit more than 20, and you had a hard time getting the shot done. And the conversation with Chris Whitcomb and all the other ones will be the links on the description, all the details. 20 years old is not too long. It's not a vast amount of living time to be trained for a great shot. And
let me just. The fact of the matter is, some kids will start shooting, well before they're 10 years old with rifles.
Yeah. Perhaps it's a Brazilian perception.
Yeah, I met a 16-year-old girl, a Latina, but from Floridian, 2 years ago, and she was the Florida state champ with a rifle. I mean, she could shoot lights out. So the youth, it's really a matter of experience. It's not a matter of age. In fact, the younger folks usually have an advantage because they're less shaky, their eyesight's better. Now, this kid's eyesight wasn't that great. He's wearing glasses. I don't know if he was myopic or, but his first shot was not a bad first shot.
No.
Because if it actually would have hit Trump right in the back behind the ear, going into the brain, which would have been would have killed him.
Yeah.
But because that goes to the cerebral cortex of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
After that, though, when you start rapid firing, particularly with an AR, but I don't care what firearm you use, when you start to rapid fire, as he did, increase the rate of fire, each shot, the barrel doesn't stay still, it moves. And so with each movement, then as the bullet comes out, it's going to deviate. So what we know for sure is it looks like at least 8 shots were fired in the direction of Donald Trump. 1 grazed him, 3, and we're not sure if the other 3 people that were 1 killed and 2 wounded, if they were hit by that same bullet or if they were hit by other bullets. Mm-hmm. But the fact that 8 were fired and you only had a total of 4 people shot is a miracle.
Yeah, especially in a conglomeration of people. I mean, everybody's just one next to another, and you can hit. 1 shot can go through 3 people, perhaps not killing, but just trespassing them and getting one behind, and yeah,
right, yeah.
It's but another thing that I did not understand. I did not understand, and perhaps I did not find out. It can be my fault. So people are saying that, okay, the guy just picked up his dad's rifle and all that. Do we know who the dad of the guy is? Because the boy has no social media, has no nothing. There is a lot of activity in his cell phone, but we at least do we know who the family of the guy is?
Yeah. The father is a very large, obese man.
Okay.
And
like the Secret Service woman just in front of Trump.
Oh boy, no! This guy is about 3 times the size of her. Okay. He's a big boy. And yeah, I mean it's there's clearly the family reportedly is cooperating, and I feel bad for them that their son turned out to be just such an asshole, but I still find it difficult to believe that this kid was acting on his own, that he was not enabled, facilitated by someone or some other people, but that what the Secret Service failed to do is this would be like you have a plane crash, and then you're trying to explain why did the plane crash. Well, and it turns out that the person who owns the plane ordered the mechanics not to do basic maintenance. Now everything else was done, flight checks, fuel, everything else was done as expected, but just the regular maintenance wasn't being done. And then that's what really led to the plane crashing. Well, was that a deliberate effort on the part of the owner to crash it? I would argue yes. And that's the same thing you have here with the assassination attempt on Trump. When you put incompetent people in charge of an operation that they cannot do, and they fail, and the price of failure is that Trump's dead. Oh my God, we got to correct that. This woman. Which I trust my friend that he's not going to make that up. Then, she needs to be fired. Never get into another management position because she didn't do her job.
Never get into any position. Well,
yeah,
and that's not even double meaning. That's just
the double entendre popped up in my mind too. So that was Kamala Harris's reputation for how she blew her way to the top. Sorry.
Well, they tried to blow another thing this time, but thank God it didn't happen. So were we 1 millimeter away, or even less, if you're considering the weapon position? Were we 1 millimeter away from something really big happening inside the United States?
Oh yeah, no, this would have led to, I think, a real outbreak of violence. I've been fascinated by the Democrats are scared because they have all come together and are backing the Republican. I mean, they're not trying to defend the Secret Service. They're all piled up, beaten up on the Secret Service. In fact, I suggested that the director Cheadle, who was fired or who resigned, that she should be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize because she brought the Republicans and Democrats together. They've been fighting and not able to agree on anything. And in the House, she got them all together. They did everything but join arms and sing Kumbaya.
That's true. But so moving a little bit, Larry, it's okay. Just to be sure, because I forgot to ask you before, we are about 35 minutes now. How long do we have today on your time? Just because
yeah, we can go a little after 2.
Okay.
Maybe it's done by like 2:15. I've got another date with Andre Martiano.
Oh, send him here regards. Long time I have to write him. Long times don't talk to him. My question here is the following. We have this happening, and then they blame Iran. Then we have this weird events on Biden, just being sacked on live TV or on Twitter, on whatever he did or someone did for him, of course. Then we have the Olympics. And the Olympics, it starts with a menace to Iran. Something happened on the trains in France, and Israeli foreign minister just saying that it was Iran's fault. What's going on there? Because there was also, in the meantime, Bibi Netanyahu's visit to the United States, and that was very interesting visit for me. But it's clear that Israel is trying to push Iran. I mean, just 2 days away, we had this missile situation that nobody knows where the missile came from, but in any way, they are blaming Hezbollah. Are they trying? Are they really thinking that it's possible to get there?
Yeah, so the real jumble of confusion. Let's start with Paris. They captured the guy. He was some lefty, radical climate guy, and so it wasn't Russia, it wasn't Iran, so they were ruled out. But then Netanyahu, his visit to the United States was for the purpose of securing promises, assurances that the United States would have his back, the back of Israel, if they expand the war, go after Hezbollah and Iran. And apparently they got those assurances. So then, we get this report that, oh my God, Hezbollah has killed 10 children. No, it's 11. No, it's 12. And all the while leaving the impression that it was Israeli children. It wasn't Israeli children. They're Druze, Syrians, citizens of Syria, but they're living in territory occupied by Israel. And I thought, man, that's sort of curious because that story was, leading the news on most channels. Well, the Israelis, the Zionists, have been killing that many Palestinian kids every day for the last 9 months, for God's sake. Yeah. So it's like, what makes this different? And we also know for a fact that Hezbollah has not been launching attacks that have been killing Israeli children prior to this. I don't think it was Hezbollah, but let's just assume that this was Hezbollah. We know that Hezbollah has not been targeting Israeli children, because you look back over the last, since October 7th, so that's almost 10 months, Israel's not been reporting, oh my God, we got hit with a rocket from Hezbollah and it killed all this, killed this family. We're not getting those reports. Hezbollah has confined itself to attacking military targets because they view the Israeli military as the threat, not necessarily the Israeli people. And so,
And from what I understand, every time they are just focusing on territory that is occupied by Israel, like South Lebanon or the Golan Heights. I remember months, or perhaps years ago. No, not years, but many months ago when this started, you reporting that the zones of Golan Heights and South Lebanon, most of these are Israeli colons. How's it called? The Israeli that
kibbutz.
Yeah, the kibbutz, they were completely empty. People had just went out of those areas. Perhaps it was not
so
you.
That was me. The problem Israel has is it's internally divided, significantly divided. There is no longer unity of purpose. We saw, for example, yesterday, Israeli military police went into one of the prisons to arrest Israeli guards who had gang raped Palestinian prisoners, and many times gang raped them using broom handles to sodomize them. Well, that was immediately opposed by Ben-Gvir, the Homeland Security chief, and he had all these settlers from the West Bank pour out and start fighting the Israeli military. So you got that going on, and that's continuing to today. They don't want this investigated. They want to be able to kill, murder, rape, whoever they want. I mean, these Zionists, they're a despicable lot. They're inhuman in their conduct. There's nothing honorable about them. They need to be destroyed, candidly. So you've got that going on, and yet here's the Israelis really believe, and I know this from talking to an acquaintance yesterday, because he said, I've been talking to my friends in Israel, and they're these senior people. Man, they're going to go into Lebanon. They're going to destroy Hezbollah. And I go, no, they're not. I mean, yes, they may go in, but Israel's more likely to be destroyed than Hezbollah. And he goes, that's not what they believe. I said, well, I don't care what they believe. There's a reality, because here we are, 9 months going on the 10th month. So we get August, September, and then we're back to October 7th, that Israel's failed to defeat Hamas. And the head of the IDF has admitted, we can't defeat them. They can't defeat an idea. Well, Hamas is at least 1/3 the size of Hezbollah, and not as well armed, equipped, or trained, or experienced. Hezbollah is an actual army, and Hamas isn't. So if Israel deigns to go into southern Lebanon, and its foreign minister Katz claimed that they had the backing of Europe and the United States to do that, it's going to be a disaster.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because my reading of I'm not saying I'm right here. For Christ's sake, I'm far, far, far from even thinking being right. But my reading about body language and actual language from Kamala Harris, I don't know if you saw the entire video from Trump meeting Netanyahu, because it surged. It's a 22-second video. If you haven't seen the big one, I send you. I managed to record the screen because it vanished from the internet. And then they replaced with the 7-second video that basically is Trump, walking away from Netanyahu. But my reading was that, he went there, he was asking for support. Kamala, for example, she came out and said, well, we had a very frank conversation. That's not good news, usually. And then we have this Donald Trump, walking away. And then the big video with 22 seconds, I showed here in the channel a couple of days ago. Then he comes back. It's like someone tells him, well, you have to go back. And then say, yeah, the boss wants me back. But when he comes back, he's not happy. And he says something that, I'm not a good lip reader. But the body language that I read was that, oh, dude, you toast, like he's saying that to Netanyahu, you toast, you goner. And when I discussed this with Lucas Leroy's here in the channel the other day, my impression is that, the bosses of Netanyahu, who are the same bosses of, Trump and Biden and Kamala, they want to get Netanyahu fired. And, we have a divided, as you say, we have a divided Israel situation. And now they want to push a war against Iran. I'm seeing a lot of people barking in Twitter, oh, we're going to throw Lebanon back to Stone Age. And they are saying that for a month and not doing too much.
Yeah, they're like, what's the most expensive house that you've ever seen?
Oh, not mine for sure.
Well, but I'm saying, think of the most expensive house. One that's like costs $50 million. And you're sitting, but you're living in a house that's right now, let's say, is worth $200,000. It's a nice house, but you say, I want to live in that $50 million house. All right, well, do you have the money? Do you have the down payment? Can you make the payments? So you're going, no. And that's sort of what Israel is doing. Israel's living, Israel's current in the domestic security situation is a $200,000 house. And now they're talking about, we want to buy that $5 million piece of property up in Lebanon, and then we want to go for the $100 million over in Iran. But you're only working as a baker and making $50,000 a year. So how are you going to pay for that? Well, they can't. So that's what I'm saying. There's this disconnect between what they're saying that they want to do and what they can actually do. And that's why it's the split that's developing in Israel pits the actual military, Gallant and his crew, against these religious extremists, Ben-Gvir, Bezalel, Smotrich, the real divide between those two. And, who sang that song, Divided We Stand, United, or Divided We Fall, United We Stand. That's the problem. Israel is increasingly divided, not united. And trying to carry out a war in those conditions is suicide.
That's true. Okay, so just for us to finish, because I know you have other appointments, Venezuela, Larry. Don't even want to talk about it. I mean, the things are off the chart here in Twitter X. I mean, even the manager, the owner, the wannabe Tony Stark is pushing a coup on Venezuela over Maduro. What do you think about the situation there?
Yeah, so the United States has never gotten over the fact that it could no longer control Venezuela. Back when Carlos Andres Perez was president, he was a CIA asset. He had been on the books as a CIA agent. So, the United States had effective control of Venezuela. The rise of people like Chavez is not done in a vacuum. I don't, personally, I don't endorse the policies of Chavez, but there were some real social issues that were unaddressed in Venezuela that led to support for his position. And he did have support early on. Now, the policies that he implemented, coupled with the sanctions imposed by the West, really created some tremendous economic hardship. And there was, there was political oppression there as well. But there had been before.
Yeah.
So now I hadn't been following Venezuela much until I saw that they were touting this guy, Eduardo Gomez, was it? I forget what his
Gonzalez something.
Gonzalez. Okay, Eduardo Gonzalez. Boy, I looked at the picture of him. Good God. He looks like a Latino version of Joe Biden. Doesn't even know where he is. I mean,
I wrote that.
Did you? Oh, see, it's my old CIA. That's my old CIA tricks coming out. Anything we're doing well is we're copying from someone else. So I copied from you. No. Good. I didn't know that you said that.
I didn't wrote a Latino version of Joe Biden, but I just wrote because he was. There's this video of the woman that I forgot her name, whatever she's called, talking, and him in the back, and I was like, just add an annoying laugh and some stupid slogan. There you go. You have where have you seen that before?
Well, I'm surprised she didn't have her arm up his ass, making him talk like a ventriloquist. Because the guy looks so weak and so lost, and so he was a figurehead.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that Maduro is this widely popular guy, but the fact of the matter is we don't know how much outside money is being poured into Venezuela to try to get rid of Maduro, because he's obviously interfering with the business affairs of some foreign corporations. And that's been the problem with the United States going back 75 years. That the United States has been constantly meddling in the internal affairs of other countries and altering elections, buying votes, and we get all upset with, the Russians are trying to interfere with our election. Just shut the hell up. Either agree that no country should interfere in the affairs of another country, which means you stay home. America, stay home. Stop bothering the rest of the world. Excuse me. Or else you say, no, everybody gets to meddle and do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's it. That's very insightful for saying that. I just, just the other day I made a video, it was called, Glauber from Belfort Roxo, some, interior place in Rio de Janeiro wants to change the word by voting Kamala Harris. And, that's the mindset that we got there, just, what was it, 2 minutes after the elections, Anthony Blinken comes out and say, well, we are concerned about Venezuela's democracy. Well, they just had an election and the guy won. How much more democracy do you want? No, yeah, but and then the excuses are all the same. Oh, it was rigged. It was fake elections. The guy just put out some numbers. Well, you just had one wannabe president or former president that was almost assassinated, and the other one, the actual president, just got couped via Twitter.
Yeah. Un golpe de Estado.
Un golpe de Estado. There's there's a game called Tropical, and there's also this Cuban dictator guy, like Comandante, andiamos.
Yeah.
And that's, just, come on, just pay attention with your inside problems. perhaps it's not even good for the rest of the world that you pay attention to your inside problems, but at
Right.
least do so and let people be a little bit better. I don't know. Just to finish, I had the picture in my head that the other day I was passing by and I saw that that ventriloquist, Jeff Dunham. You know him?
Yeah, Jeff Dunham. Oh yeah, he's fabulous. His dummy Walter is like, you're looking and saying, God, that's Joe Biden. Except the ventriloquist dummy is smarter than Joe Biden.
And in the other hand, there is Jose Jalapeno, and I was just watching it and thinking that's Joe Biden and Harris.
Yeah.
That was
really,
perfect.
really funny stuff.
Yeah, I love that
Really
guy.
funny
I love
stuff.
that guy. Larry, I have a hell lot of things, but yeah, we went for about an hour. I think it's all right. We're gonna keep talking and arrange for another occasion. We still have to talk about all this religious craziness, and it's a good moment to talk about that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to jump back on with you next week.
All right. Okay, next week. That would be awesome. So everybody, thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe on the channels, and also all the links on the description. For those who are in Larry's channel, if you want to come and meet, it's mostly Portuguese-speaking channel, but there is some interesting interviews in English. And Larry, thank you very much again. Send regards to Andre, and see you next time.
Thank you, Marcelo. Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado. Bye-bye.
Bye.